to open today's event and also to come on stage delivering the welcoming speech. Let's put our hand together and welcome on stage, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Satya Nadella.
Thank you so very much. It's such an honor to be in Jakarta with this community of developers and to be here with President Jokowi and his team today. It's really an honor. As I look out at this room of developers and spend time visiting the organizations across all industries and across all sizes in Jakarta today, I see an unprecedented opportunity. In a world where every aspect of work and life is being transformed by computing, the community gathered here, that is the developers of Indonesia, are going to build the future. It is each of you who are building the solutions to help make every small business in Indonesia more productive, every Indonesian large business become competitive globally, make the government much more efficient and productive, and improve health, educational outcomes. And as I see so many powerful examples of this across Indonesia, people like Michael Sitoras, a 16-year-old in a small town in central Java, who is preserving Indonesia's culture using Minecraft. He has created an awe-inspiring tower of Monument Nasional and the sacred Borobudur temple in a virtual world, helping to preserve the country's very rich history for future generations. Or the acclaimed Indonesian fashion designer, Ria Marinda, who celebrated the 10th anniversary of our fashion line by using AI to create hundreds of beautiful new scarves. Her work is a testament to how technology can amplify human ingenuity. Organizations like the startups I met this morning, JDuck.in, Beehive Drones, Dye Coding, their products exemplify how technology can be used to address our most pressing challenges, from climate change to hunger to accessibility. I am encouraged to see how Indonesia's largest businesses are embracing digital technology to transform organizations and the communities they serve. Bank Mandiri is envisioning the future of work, equipping its employees with new tools to foster collaboration, connection, and productivity. And Telkomsel is innovating at the edge to bridge the digital divide, helping provide the Indonesians, both in large cities as well as in rural villages, with access to broadband connectivity, creating new economic opportunity for all Indonesians. And we see entire metropolitan areas embracing the digital future, like BSD, which is transforming into a smart city by Sinar Mas, with smart residences, connected workplaces, and digital hub that is more inclusive and accessible to all citizens. I, in fact, look forward to sharing many other examples in my keynote later this morning and meeting many inspiring leaders across the entire digital ecosystem of Indonesia. It is this ambition, ingenuity that makes Indonesia so important for Microsoft. We have been fortunate that we have been present in Indonesia, working alongside each and every one of you for the last 25 years. And we firmly believe that our permission to operate in your great country means that we must serve and contribute to the local interests and the local economic progress of the people here. This is why we are focused on helping Indonesian businesses build their own digital capability so that they can achieve independence with Microsoft, not be dependent on Microsoft. This also requires that we equip every Indonesian with skills and technology required for the jobs of tomorrow. To date, we have trained more than 18 million Indonesians, teachers and students in digital skills to increase the economic opportunity and drive renewed productivity growth across Indonesia. The President has outlined a bold vision to make Indonesia Southeast Asia's leading digital economy, with his focus investing in infrastructure, creating a highly skilled workforce, and making Indonesia a competitive place to conduct business for everyone. And I'm incredibly optimistic about our collective opportunity ahead. I'm also excited to see how this community of innovators create solutions that will enable every Indonesian to learn, grow, and thrive. And now it is my great privilege and honor to welcome President Jokowi to share his vision on how we can accomplish this together. Because when each of us commits to do more, we all collectively achieve more. Thank you so very much, and it's a great honor.
Bapak Ibu sekalian, selanjutnya mari kita simak bersama keynote speech oleh Presiden Republik Indonesia, Bapak Joko Widodo.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat pagi, salam sejahtera bagi kita semuanya. Yang saya hormati CEO Microsoft Corporation, Mr. Satya Nadella, beserta seluruh delegasi Microsoft yang hadir. Yang saya hormati para Menteri Kabinet Indonesia Maju, Bapak Ibu hadirin yang berbahagia. Saya senang sekali pagi hari ini bisa hadir di sini. Saya lihat di sini sudah hadir lengkap, mulai dari startup, developer, technopreneur, IT professional developers. Juga saya melihat yang muda-muda mungkin dari mahasiswa dan para pelajar, dan saya yakin semuanya mau berkumpul di sini karena ingin Indonesia tidak tertinggal dalam kemajuan ekonomi digital. Kita harus berada di depan dan bahkan yang terdepan. Dan sebenarnya kita telah merasakan berkah dari ekonomi digital ini. Tidak hanya dari platform digital marketplace konvensional. Siapa sangka masyarakat kita mampu melihat celah dari berbagai kanal media dan komunikasi digital yang kita miliki. Coba lihat Facebook kita, Twitter kita, Instagram kita, atau WA Group kita. Saya yakin dan saya lihat banyak lapak penjual yang berseliweran di situ, banyak sekali. Yang menawarkan berbagai produk kebutuhan sehari-hari. Saya lihat ada yang jualan pakaian, ada yang jualan makanan, ada yang jualan obat peninggi badan. Dan akhir-akhir ini saya lihat banyak yang jualan krim pemutih kulit. Saya kadang-kadang lihat ini apa, tapi inilah sebuah kreativitas. Dan di Instagram saya sendiri, banyak yang nawari obat penggemuk badan. Ini apa? Saya pikir ini laku atau tidak, tapi karena marketingnya begitu gencar, pasti itu barang laku. Meskipun benar atau enggak benar, saya enggak tahu. Ini adalah sebuah kreativitas yang luar biasa. Mungkin tidak banyak masyarakat negara lain yang cara-cara berjualan di pasar-pasar digital seperti kita di Indonesia. Dalam lingkup yang kecil-kecil, mungkin dalam kapasitas yang kecil-kecil, tapi banyak yang melakukan. Dan sampai saat ini Indonesia juga merupakan negara dengan nilai ekonomi digital terbesar di kawasan ASEAN dengan pertumbuhan yang paling cepat. Coba kita lihat 2015 nilai ekonominya 8 miliar US dollar. 8 miliar ini kalau di triliun berapa itu berarti? Kira-kira 120-an triliun ya. Kemudian di 2019, 40 miliar US dollar. 40 miliar berarti 560 triliun rupiah. Dan diprediksi di tahun 2025 kita akan memiliki 133 miliar US dollar. Silahkan kalikan sendiri berapa triliun rupiah. Dan Indonesia juga tercatat memiliki ekosistem startup yang paling aktif di Asia Tenggara. Nomor 5 di dunia setelah Amerika, setelah India, setelah Inggris dan Kanada. Kita nomor 5, ini supaya mengerti betul, kita nomor 5 setelah Amerika, India, Inggris, dan Kanada. Dan kita memiliki 2.193 startup. Ada 1 dekakon, ada 4 unicorn. Dan salah satunya saya jadikan menteri, foundernya. Ini ada di sini. Tapi itu juga belum cukup. Indonesia masih memiliki potensial pasar digital yang sangat besar. Penduduk kita 267 juta. Ini sebuah pasar yang sangat besar. Populasi terbesar keempat di dunia. Penetrasi pasar internet 65% di tahun 2019, naik 10% dibandingkan tahun 2018 yang 55%. Besar sekali. Hati-hati, besar sekali. Di tahun 2018, informasi yang saya dapat juga ada 171 juta pengguna internet di Indonesia. 171 juta pengguna internet di Indonesia. Internet users 171. Betul-betul sebuah pertumbuhan yang sangat pesat sekali, sangat cepat sekali. Oleh sebab itu potensi seperti ini harus kita manfaatkan. Tadi Pak Satya Nadella juga menyampaikan ingin mendorong agar dunia bisnis kita, dunia usaha kita bisa bekerja lebih efisien, bisa bekerja lebih cepat, bisa bekerja lebih efektif. Inilah yang kita inginkan. Dan jumlah ini diprediksi akan terus meningkat sejalan dengan telah selesainya pembangunan infrastruktur telekomunikasi kita, yaitu palaparing yang menghubungkan lebih dari 500 kabupaten dan kota yang kita miliki, jaringan internet broadband yang berkecepatan tinggi, ini yang kita akan terus garap. Tetapi saya perlu ingatkan juga jangan sampai kita ini hanya menjadi pasar. Kita juga tidak mau jadi penonton, enggak, atas kemajuan ekonomi digital ini. Perkembangan ekonomi digital harus memicu pemasaran produk-produk dalam negeri. Ini penting sekali. Pemasaran produk-produk usaha mikro, usaha kecil, usaha menengah. Penting sekali ini saya sampaikan. Artinya ekonomi digital kita harus mendorong produksi dalam negeri ini laku, terjual. Jangan barang impor yang dipasang di marketplace kita. Ekonomi digital juga harus menciptakan lapangan kerja. Harus. Ekonomi digital juga harus mendorong ekspor. Harus. Ekonomi digital juga harus meningkatkan devisa. Harus. Dan kita harapkan ekonomi digital selanjutnya bisa menurunkan defisit neraca perdagangan kita, menurunkan defisit transaksi berjalan yang kita miliki. Harapan kita itu. Dan kita harus bekerja keras untuk menjadi produsen, sehingga memberikan dampak yang luas dan positif kepada masyarakat kita. Dan saya melihat semakin banyak inisiatif startup, banyak sekali, dan cukup banyak inisiatif kewirausahaan kita, bisnis kita, kewirausahaan sosial yang berbasis teknologi digital, saya lihat juga banyak. Inilah kekuatan-kekuatan yang harus kita himpun terus. Selain kita tingkatkan kuantitas dan skalanya, saya tekankan bahwa ekonomi digital harus memberikan kontribusi signifikan bagi kesejahteraan masyarakat kita. Menaikkan kelas usaha mikro, usaha kecil kita, memasarkan produk-produk unggulan dengan kualitas yang baik ke pasar-pasar dunia, ke pasar-pasar ekspor, serta membuka lapangan kerja baru. Produk digital juga harus berkontribusi memecahkan persoalan-persoalan krusial di masyarakat, misalnya meningkatkan akses pendidikan untuk masyarakat yang tidak mampu dan terpencil. Saya lihat ini juga sudah muncul banyak, menyediakan pendanaan untuk usaha-usaha mikro dan usaha kecil. Saya lihat ini juga sudah banyak, termasuk crowdfunding untuk bantuan sosial. Saya lihat juga ini sudah banyak yang bekerja di sini. Untuk itu pemerintah akan terus bekerja keras memperbaiki ekosistem ekonomi digital, mempermudah sumber pendanaan, mentoring, mempermudah ekosistem kerjasama dengan lembaga-lembaga investasi dunia, serta regulasi dan birokrasi yang kondusif. Tadi pagi kita telah melakukan pertemuan dengan Microsoft juga yang berkaitan dengan data center. Saya sampaikan kepada beliau-beliau, akan saya selesaikan dalam waktu tidak lebih dari 1 minggu apa yang diinginkan untuk regulasinya. Dalam kesempatan ini saya ingin mengajak para hadirin, para pelaku inovator untuk ikut andil dalam Indonesia Digital Growth Story, untuk ikut menjadi bagian dari sejarah pertumbuhan digital ekonomi di Indonesia. Dan peluangnya sangat terbuka lebar, termasuk di dalamnya nanti dalam pembangunan ibu kota baru Indonesia di Kalimantan Timur. Karena dengan ibu kota baru ini kita ingin semangatnya bukan hanya pindah lokasi, pindah gedung, bukan itu. Tetapi kita ingin pindah cara kerja, kita ingin menginstall sistem sehingga sistem baru yang ingin kita ikuti, yang cepat, yang efisien. Juga pindah cara kerja, pindah budaya kerja. Kita ingin membangun sebuah basis ekonomi baru yang berbasis iptek dan inovasi, termasuk pindah dari analog ke sepenuhnya digital. Program ini adalah program besar yang akan mendorong lompatan kemajuan Indonesia, lompatan dari mayoritas analog ke sepenuhnya digital. Cara kerja pemerintahan kita juga bertransformasi, harus bertransformasi ke digital. Ini selalu saya sampaikan kepada menteri-menteri, termasuk mindset dan kulturnya yang berlogika digital. Harus semuanya ini pindah pola pikir, kultur, semuanya harus berlogika digital. Oleh sebab itu, saya mengundang para hadirin di sini dan industri teknologi dunia untuk mengambil peran dalam transformasi ini. Sedikit ingin saya sampaikan mengenai video Ibu Kota Baru, 2 menit. Ibu kota yang hijau. Tidak banjir dan tidak macet. Karena dimulai dengan tata ruang yang baik, Green City, Smart City, Compact City, banyak pedestrian, orang berjalan kaki, banyak orang bersepeda, mobil harus elektrik. Dan pada lompatan berikut, otonomus. Penggunaan energi yang baru terbarukan. Terima kasih. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you so much. It's fantastic, as I said, to be back in Indonesia and to be with all of you as developers. And in fact, as we start a new decade, it's a great time to reflect on what was achieved in the last 10 years and what is possible in the next 10. And listening to President Jokowi this morning, I think he captured it very well in terms of what we as developers, as technologists can aspire to. The last 10 years have been nothing short of phenomenal, right? I mean, the mobile revolution came to bear, the cloud, consumer internet, they made a huge difference in our society, in our lives, and it's sort of very tangible. But I think as the president talked about, I think we have to aspire for more going forward. We have to aspire to have digital technology, which is the most malleable resource that humankind has ever found, i.e. software, and use it to have much broader impact across every part of our economy, across small businesses and large businesses, across public sector and private sector. It can't be just about consumer consumption. It has to be about productivity and inclusive economic growth. And so that's what I want to talk about. What is it that we collectively can do? And the good news is, computing is getting embedded in the world. Right? It's in our homes, it's in our workplaces, it's in hospitals, it's in stadiums, it's in cities. Every industry, whether it's energy, whether it's retail, agriculture, financial services, are being transformed by digital technology. Every profession, and this is interesting, it's not just the knowledge worker, but the first-line worker in manufacturing, in retail, that is now benefiting because of digital technology. Public service, and everything, whether it's the car, the refrigerator, or the machinery is connected and driven by digital software. Now, this is what we describe as the world of intelligent cloud and the intelligent edge. That's the paradigm. So the next 10 years are going to be powered by this new paradigm where computing itself will be ubiquitous. It'll be everywhere. The intelligence will be ambient. And even the experience that we have today that is mostly mediated by a single device at a time will be multiple devices and multiple senses. In some sense, freeing us from being device-led to experiencing the world around us. So that's the richness we can look forward to. And I describe this as tech intensity. And the key question for every organization in Indonesia is twofold. How quickly are you able to take world-class technology and adopt it? But most importantly, how are you able to build digital technology of your own? That's going to really determine how rapidly can the economy and society make progress. So that's tech intensity. And there are, I would say, three main considerations. As the world becomes more digital, we need it to be more inclusive. Small, large, public, private, first-line workers, knowledge workers. It also needs to be trusted. This is a place where I think everyone, of course, we as technology providers have to build trust in technology, but every bank, every public sector institution, every small business will also have to build trust around the technology they create. And the world needs to move to a much more sustainable world, because the finite resource of our planet is dear to all of us, and it'll take all of us to ensure the sustainability of that finite resource in a world of abundance of software. If, for those of you, since you're all developers, it's best to see it as a formula, right? It's about tech adoption and tech intent, and tech creation or tech capability, but the power, the exponent comes. And this perhaps is the key. If there is one lesson we can learn from the last 10 years, is that unless and until you have that inclusive growth, if you don't have trust, if you don't have that sustainability as the core to your approach, the benefits of tech adoption, in fact, will come to a zero. But you can have exponential growth if you have these three. And that, I think, is the key thing that we all have to recognize. And it's up to us as developers to be the ones who make this shift. We are grounded in our mission to empower every person and every organization on the planet to achieve more with this worldview. We want to build technology platforms and tools so that everyone here goes on to build your own platforms, your own technology, your own businesses. And as I always say, our goal is not to make anyone here more dependent on Microsoft. We want to work with you so that you're more independent in your digital capability. That is core to our mission, it's core to our business model, but I want to come back each year to Indonesia to see more thriving digital skills, digital jobs, and most importantly, digital native businesses. And so I want to today talk about the tech platform. Right? What is that world-class technology that we want to give you as leverage, as bootstraps, so that you can build more technology? We want to, of course, bring all this together for organizations as solutions that ultimately drive the digital transformational outcomes at an individual company level and at the broader economy level. How can we change what customers can expect from a bank in terms of experience? How can we optimize the operations of a healthcare institution so that there is better patient care, better outcomes, and low cost? How can we optimize the operations? How can we change business models and create new products and services using digital technologies? That's ultimately what matters. But since we're a developer audience here, I thought, let me kind of motivate that by just going up the stack. Be a little more constructionist. Start with the infrastructure and go up. So talking about infrastructure and Azure, I want to use 2 data points just to sort of set what is to come. By 2030, we're going to have 50 billion connected devices. I mean, to put that in perspective, there are 1 billion Windows users, there's 1 billion iOS users, a couple of billion Android devices out there. But we're talking about 50 billion compute points that are just embedded in the world. And here's the other interesting data point, which is the amount of data that's going to get generated by 2025, 175 zettabytes of data. We approximately have around 45 zettabytes today. So we need to build the compute infrastructure for this world, and that's what we're doing. We're building Azure as the world's computer with 58 data center regions. We want to not just stop at the cloud, but bring it to the edge. We are, in fact, the only public cloud today, and we are already doing this in Indonesia, where we can take compute to the edge with Azure Stack to Azure Sphere. In fact, just this week, we announced the general availability of Azure Sphere, which brings Azure Compute to a microcontroller that you can put into a coffee machine. Right? That ability to have one ubiquitous computing fabric with consistency on the management plane, the administration plane, the security plane, and the development consistency, I think is what developers are going to exploit as they envision the next generation of solutions. We're also building all of this with openness. Windows and Linux, Java and .NET, Postgres and SQL. Right, Kubernetes, VMware, what have you. Bring your own infrastructure and tools. So we want to support that throughout. Now, we already have fantastic examples of people who are using this. In fact, the Asian Games, when they were held in 2018 here, used the public cloud as well as Azure Stack at the edge to run a very successful operation. We also have telecom cell that is in fact bringing connectivity plus edge compute. Again, having that vision for how cloud and the edge can come together with the network to enable a variety of different industries and in fact bring connected cities to connected villages and really come together to solve some of the pressing challenges. Now, one layer up from the infrastructure is the data layer. And in some sense, one could say that this is perhaps the most critical set of decisions. I had a chance to meet with even some large customers, and the point I was making was how you organize your data estate so that you can deal with the variety, the velocity, and the volume of data that is being generated is perhaps going to define the digital capability building. It can be both an accelerator or a deterrent, depending on the choices you make. So we're building a limitless data estate for the operational stores that have no scale limits. What we've done with Cosmos DB is fantastic, which is it's a multi-mode database, which is regionless, right? So think about it. You can have a graph store, a key value store, a SQL store, everything that is elastically scalable for you to be able to then write your applications from an operational side. But the other thing is the analytics pipeline is also limitless and real-time. So the ability to have something like Azure Synapse ingest petabytes and petabytes of data and convert it into both real-time machine learning compute or SQL data warehouses. It's all one pipeline. So that data estate, every application developer here will build this into their applications, both the operational side and the analytics side. One of the things that we are very thrilled, once you have a lot of the compute infrastructure, you have all of the data infrastructure, of course you create AI, and that's what we've been doing. In fact, the last, I would say 7 years or so, we have been leading the way around really setting human parity around speech, machine reading, object recognition, machine translation, phenomenal breakthroughs. In fact, just 2 weeks ago, we released a model, which is a natural language model, a natural language generation model, that has 17 billion parameters that we used for the training. I mean, it's just pretty phenomenal, both on the natural language representation as well as in the natural language generation side, to see the rapid progress being made. And think about this. One of the things that I've been associated with is organizations that are dealing with cancer research. And I had not realized this, but the rate limiter for cancer research is the ability to understand all the scientific literature that is being put out so that an individual scientist can then come up with new hypotheses that is going to help cure cancer. So these AI technologies, in fact, will be helpful in even how we take human capability and move it forward, and human knowledge and to move it forward. But the key for us, by the way, is not to talk about some big breakthrough. In fact, we open source the entire model we just launched. We have it on GitHub. So those of you who want to improve on it, use it, because that's our key goal. The goal is to democratize AI. In other words, we want every company here, every organization, startup, incumbent, large business, to be able to take all of this AI capability and create your own AI using your own data. That's our goal. So that means we want to have the best cloud infrastructure, whether it's GPU, FPGA. We want to have it across the cloud and the edge. We want to have the best frameworks, the best tooling. In fact, one of the things we want to really innovate on is what we call machine learning ops. Very important for us to even think about, just like how we thought about DevOps, what are the ways we're going to really make the process of creation of these AI pipelines more efficient. There's fantastic startup momentum. In fact, I had a chance to meet these startups this morning. One of them is really working on how to think about reforestation much more efficiently, right? Using IoT sensors, data streamed from there. Then they're working with large businesses in their reforestation schemes. Then I had met a startup which is doing precision agriculture. That's the Beehive drones, which is how can they use autonomous drones rendezvousing with a local base station that then in further tiers up with the cloud. I mean, that's the classic pattern of distributed computing, from the cloud to the edge, creating value in the remotest of areas, and with precision agriculture. Decoding, in fact, it's really inspiring to see both how skills are being built for all of the people in Indonesia. So these are all startups doing great work. Now, to me, I want to talk about one of the considerations which I think is going to define perhaps how all this technology gets used. As I said, trust and security are very important. We are going to approach everything we do where privacy is a human right. There's going to be, obviously, already legislation in Indonesia and more work that is being done here, which we welcome, which we will support. AI ethics is another area, because we want to ensure, for example, any model that gets built doesn't have bias. In fact, some of the best work we're doing is to ensure that we can de-bias even things like language models so that they don't contain these unconscious bias that can be inherited from just human text. We also think that one of the keys, by the way, to build products that don't have any inherent bias is to have great development teams that are diverse. And in fact, it's great to see the diversity of the audience here, whether it's from gender, ethnicity. This is going to be the best defense we have in ensuring ethics in our AI. And of course, the thing that I want to talk a lot about is security. Cybersecurity, we lose today around $1 trillion across the globe because of cybercrime. So think about the GDP growth. Indonesia is growing fast. But one of the key things we want to make sure is that growth is not impeded by cybersecurity issues. And the combination of what we are doing by building out a security architecture and security products, starting from identity to device endpoints, whether they're IoT or compute endpoints, to applications, to infrastructure. We're doing world-class work building out that security framework. But the most important thing is, it's just not the security framework. It's the fact that we see 8 trillion events. We want to turn that operational security posture that we have into defense for every business organization in Indonesia. In fact, if you think about some of the cybercrime nowadays, it's very micro-targeted. It's not these big things sometimes you read in the press. In fact, one of the things that I was preparing for this, I went and sort of looked at some of our data and said, okay, what's happening in Indonesia? So in the region, there was a phishing attack, a classic password stealer, right? So it sort of comes from sort of masquerades as an email from a legitimate business in the region, and has the payload, which then basically steals passwords from your browser. So the ability to see that in real time and then use something like Microsoft Defender to expunge it from the network. And in this case, we were able to see that micro-targeting of a particular region and a particular class of businesses and ensure that it doesn't propagate. That level of security work is what we want to bring to the market. Now, the next area I want to talk about is developer tools. You sort of heard the presentation on GitHub. Developer tool, I mean, here's an interesting statistic from LinkedIn. 66% of the software jobs in Indonesia are outside of what is considered the tech industry. Right? I mean, it's phenomenal to see that, which is, and by the way, the crossover happened a couple of years ago, and this is going to be true for all time to come, right? Which is, every business is going to be a software business, so that means every business is going to have software engineers. And so one of the top considerations is the productivity of the software engineers in the healthcare company, in the agri-tech company, in the financial sector. All of them, for us, are a very important priority. Microsoft was a tools company. That's how we got started in 1975. We care about this deeply. So we are building the very best tool chain. Today, even engineers in Palo Alto and working at Facebook have standardized on VS Code. We have the most popular development tool, IDE. So you take what we're doing with VS, Visual Studio and Visual Studio Code, Azure DevOps, and what you heard in GitHub. And that's going to be the world-class developer SaaS services that every developer in Indonesia can use, born for the world of cloud, born for the world of open source, and that's what we are very committed to, and it's a complete tool chain. In fact, the companies here, Tokopedia is a great example of someone who uses GitHub deeply and contributes to open source, builds on open source, and shows that agility that comes with that mindset, as it was discussed earlier. Now, one of the most interesting things is, it's not just about the professional developers. Going forward, one of the most exciting things that is happening is domain experts and their ability to build applications. And in fact, you can see why we need it. We are going to have 500 million, million new applications that are going to get created by 2025. That's more than the apps that were built over the last 40 plus years. And the only way to do that is to have citizen developer tools or domain expert developer tools or low-code, no-code tools, right? In fact, that's one of the things, I think in the next 10 years, if you can build an Excel spreadsheet, you can build an app. And that will be one of the goals. In fact, there will be a workflow and a combination between professional developers and domain experts. And we're really excited to see that happen. And we're building a Power Platform, whether it's Power Apps, whether it is Power BI in terms of building all the analytics and dashboarding, Power Automate, which is workflow and robotic process automation, and even Power Virtual Agent, which allows you to build a very, or a different type of speech-first, conversation-first interface to any application. Again, just like you would build spreadsheets, you can now build these applications. And for those of you who are building SaaS applications of your own, you can embed this capability. So for those of you who are developers, startups, building next-generation companies, you can incorporate this entire Power Platform as a component to drive extensibility of your own SaaS application. In fact, it's the same extensibility framework we use for Microsoft 365 as well as for Dynamics 365. So it's exciting to see this. And in fact, one of the companies that we have seen in Indonesia use this extensively, is Petramina, who's using this across the board. You know, when I was reading about this, the thing that struck me is how they had a mission to incorporate data as a cultural change element. And they use Power BI. Defining metrics is everything, right? Anybody who's a digital native gets it, that, you know, ultimately it's about defining the metrics and monotonically improving those metrics. The question is, how do we incorporate that broadly across any organization? And that's where I think tools like this can be very, very powerful. Now, another area of the stack that I want to talk about is business process. Ultimately, economies move because business processes, and this is again something that I thought the president did a great job of talking about, which is you need to be able to take any business process and make it more productive. What does it mean to be 10x, 100x better, less paper, more digital artifacts? And what does digital mean? That means your ability to predict things, derive insights. Those are the two things. The analytical power and the predictive power is what goes up. And to me, that's what we're doing with Dynamics 365. Right? Today, something like 73% of the data that gets collected doesn't get analyzed. We want to change that by building a complete new generation business process platform with Dynamics 365 so that every organization can go from being reactive to proactive. So you are predicting, you are gaining insights, you're analyzing in real time and improving the business. That's our core goal. And again, these digital feedback loops also mean you can't have the data of one system only be used to optimize the operations of that system. Your supply chain should be very relevant for how you drive personalization on an e-commerce front end. And that ability to do that end-to-end, I think, is going to be very, very key. And so those are the pieces of infrastructure we're building. And we see this again as examples today, right? The shipping company out of here that is very key to the logistics, not only of Indonesia, but of the world. Meratus is already using Dynamics and their own technology on top of it. In fact, they're using combination of things and using this as the connective tissue to change how they optimize businesses. Mobile 88, in fact, they're one of the largest dealers, car dealers in the country, car dealerships, but they're managing the inventory efficiency of when an old car comes in, gets refurbished and sold, that entire workflow. Think about the capital efficiency that can be brought about by having business processes that are much more predictive, much more proactive versus being reactive. Another area that we're excited to see is LinkedIn in Indonesia. It's, ultimately the most important thing is the people asset. 54% of the people are going to have to continuously reskill themselves, right? Because gone are the days where you went to school and you graduated with all the skills required for your entire career. The idea that you have to continuously reskill yourself. There are real jobs that are evolving. The skills required need to change, and you have new learning paths. You want to create, again, that feedback loop between the learning paths, the skills required, and the jobs. That dynamic data is one of the most important things, and LinkedIn is all about that. And we are now, it's great to see. In fact, you see it in all the unicorns in the country, where we sort of look at how they operate their recruiting processes, their hiring processes, their employment engagement processes. Whether it's Gojek, Traveloka, Tokopedia, and others are all using LinkedIn as a way for them to be able to really do great recruiting, but it just doesn't stop there. It's about being able to have the insights on talent and their skills and their engagement that I think are going to be much more prevalent throughout. Now, the last area of the stack that I want to talk about is Microsoft 365, but I want to motivate it with two pieces of data. 25 and 40%. 25 is the minutes it takes for someone to get back on task if you get distracted. One of the biggest challenges for us going forward is going to be in a world where we have so much computing in our lives, attention, ability to do deep work is what is scarce. And so therefore, one of the things is we've got to again use technology to change that, to come and help us. And the productivity loss is real. So in fact, again, the president, I think, referenced this, which is if you do a lot of consumption-driven economy, you may have the unintended consequence that your productivity will not grow. So one of the things that we're doing with Microsoft 365, which is a design principle, which I believe anyone here building applications will have to consider, which is put people at the center, their time and attention are scarce, and design the experience for them so that they can achieve more with what matters to them the most. That means people, their relationships with other people, the work artifacts, how they collaborate, whom they collaborate with, are all being used to reshape how we think about productivity and communication. And a great example of this is actually Microsoft Teams. It's been an absolute breakthrough product. Microsoft Teams is about messaging, it's about meetings, it is about collaboration, but it's also about business process. In fact, all business processes terminate with some workflow with people. And the ability to actually bring all these four things into one scaffolding has been tremendous in terms of its impact. And we see that, with the kind of growth that we're seeing. We have AeroAsia and Teams, and they are using it for secure messaging throughout their organization, the communications from the C-suite on down. We have Bank Mandiri using Microsoft 365s. Again, how broadly their culture is being shifted by use of these new tools, as well as another bank, OCBC NISP, is using Microsoft 365. They, in fact, have used all of that cybersecurity. Like, how do they take advantage of that operational security posture as a way for them to get better? So these are all amazing examples of tech intensity at large. So I want to close where I started. Ultimately, the future of Indonesia is going to be defined by the choices that every developer in Indonesia makes, every organization makes around how they go about building their own tech intensity and tech capability. We are committed to bringing world-class technology to you so that you can create world-class technology. That's been what we have done for the last 25 years, and that's what we want to do going forward. And what inspires me is to see how empowering digital technology is. How people right here in Indonesia can take technology and change how they bring about their ingenuity, express it in different ways. And so I just wanted to leave you with this designer, Ria Miranda's story. What she has done in terms of being able to use AI to bring her creativity to a new level. How to train models in ways that can, in fact, increase human ingenuity is tremendous to see. And this is what I expect that each and every one of you will do across your organization, across your industry, across your sphere of impact. Thank you all so very much. It's been such a pleasure to be in Indonesia. Thank you.